It all began when a hard-working father from Chelmsford started drug usage as a form of relief. But soon, that same decision would mark his family forever, leaving a daughter fatherless and a grieving widow behind. All it took was a minor disagreement between him and the drug dealer that slowly spiraled into something far more sinister. Kieran Shepherd, a construction worker from Essex, was described as a kind and loving son, father and brother by his family. He decided through a mutual acquaintance referred to as the middleman to contact O'Keefe, a local drug supplier, for 2 wraps of cocaine, each one costing £35. The middleman knew them both from Chelmsford nightlife. O'Keefe, a 19-year-old drug dealer from Basildon with a history of minor drug possession, agrees. The deal goes smoothly. Kieran pays cash, gets the wraps, without any problems. Kieran texts the middleman. Sound. Good stuff might hit up again. Just a week later, at the 28th of September, the same process takes place once again. Kieran messages the middleman at around 8 p.m. Fancy 2 more wraps. Same guy. The middleman connects to O'Keefe, who agrees, but with Daw, a 19-year-old from Great Baddow, O'Keefe's drinking buddy with a prior 2023 affray conviction, and another 19-year-old from Chelmsford, a social media friend with petty theft history. The deal was arranged. They planned to meet next Monday at 10 p.m. off Meadgate Avenue, a quiet residential spot near Kieran's home. Kieran arrives on foot alone. He hands over £70 cash, and O'Keefe passes the wraps. But as Kieran starts walking away, O'Keefe suddenly grabs him from behind, while Daw and Carpenter were watching from a distance. Kieran's blood ran cold. O'Keefe tells him, "Hand it or else." A scuffle starts. Kieran replies, "It's done, take the money," while resisting. O'Keefe then proceeds to punch him in the face as Daw and Carpenter attempt to block his escape. They manage to snatch the wraps and his phone to check the contacts, fearing he'd be a snitch. Kieran fights back briefly but flees on foot, yelling, "You'll regret this." But since the conflict wasn't captured by any CCTV cameras, it's worth noting that the evidence surrounding it comes from the perpetrators in court and the group's message exchange from WhatsApp. Kieran allegedly pulled out a knife, but that remains an allegation as it hasn't been proved. At 2 a.m., just a few hours after the conflict, O'Keefe boasted on Snapchat, "Robbed the mug E7 style, slang for easy mark." Daw replies, "He comes looking, we handle." It was clear that since Kieran had no prior criminal history or connections, he was seen as an easy target by O'Keefe and his friends. Kieran was also very upset after that conflict and sleeps rough as he fears retaliation. He messages his mother Julie through Snapchat, "Shorted some gear, wrong crowd." She urged him to go to the police, but he refused. "Embarrassing. I'll fix it." As days went by, Kieran reached out to the middleman demanding a refund. He felt that his honor was taken. His demand wasn't for the money, but for justice. His message reads, "Get my £70 or phone back." O'Keefe ignored the message and proceeded to notify Daw and Carpenter. "He's chatting shit. If he shows up, we square it." Hatred between them grew as time passed by. On 4th of October, Kieran spots Daw near his construction site in Basildon and makes eye contact. Daw smirks and walks away as Kieran tells one of his co-workers, "They're watching, owe me now." Essex police logs an anonymous tip. Drug beef brewing, knife risk. But no names were mentioned, so the police dismissed it. O'Keefe's group started patrolling Chelmsford and Basildon's borders with e-bikes. Kieran avoids going out at night. His family, aware of the danger he was in, tried to support him. Kieran's mother buys him a new phone and reassures him that if anything goes down, they'll help him. But both parties were far from done. Kieran reaches out to the middleman once again, and the middleman relays his message to O'Keefe. He says you'll get it. Tension simmers. O'Keefe tells his group, Mug is bluffing, spot him chat. O'Keefe's motive shifts from debt to desire for dominance. Kieran, aware of how serious the situation has gotten, confides in workmate once again. Robbed by locals, they're watching me. On the evening of the 14th of October, O'Keefe decides to make a strategic plan to take the revenge he thirsted for. He drives to Kieran's area and informs his crew as Kieran was going on about his normal routine, taking his dog out for a walk. Saw him walking dog, Meadgate Way. Tomorrow, end the chat. It was a cold Tuesday morning. The trio has locked in their revenge plan. They drive in a Vauxhall car to Meadgate, where they spot Kieran. Kieran, completely unaware, was casually just walking his dog and talking on his phone. They slowly start approaching him. Kieran sees them and starts running. The chase begins. Kieran starts running with the trio chasing him. Just within 100 meters after they were last seen, Dorr manages to tackle him. O'Keefe pulls a large sheathed knife and thrusts multiple arteries severely the first time, and both his lung and heart the second. Kieran gasped, clutched his back, and collapsed face down, dropping his dog's leash. The dog barked frantically, but stayed nearby. The first call was made within 1 minute of the stabbing by a neighbour who witnessed the chase and collapse from her window. The caller reported, "He's on the ground! Blood everywhere! 3 lads ran off in a silver car." A second call followed 30 seconds later from another bystander, describing the silver Vauxhall fleeing the scene. The calls were dispatched as Category 1, life-threatening, with Essex Police and East of England Ambulance Service arriving at 12:30 p.m. Kieran was found collapsed face down on the pavement in a pool of blood, unresponsive and bleeding profusely from 2 deep upper back stabs, 13 to 15 centimeters each. Before the medics arrived, bystanders applied pressure with towels, noting shallow gasps initially, but he quickly stopped breathing. When medics arrived, he was pale, clammy, with no palpable pulse, indicative of cardiac tamponade and exsanguination. With no response to CPR, adrenaline, or defibrillation, Kieran Shepherd was pronounced dead at the scene. As soon as the attack ended, the trio immediately fled the scene back to their silver Vauxhall car, parked about 50 meters away. They drove off toward Basildon at high speed. Witnesses reported seeing them running like mad and jumping into the car, with O'Keefe still masked. NPR cameras tracked the vehicle, confirming this direction. From there, they headed to Stock Woods, where they burned their blood-stained clothes in an attempt to destroy evidence. This occurred around 1 p.m. After disposing of the items, they drove to Jaywick Holiday Park, a coastal area in Essex, about 30 minutes from Stock, where they hid overnight in a chalet or caravan. Carpenter's girlfriend, McElvaney, was also there, and later told police that O'Keefe joked about the stabbing. He said, It had to be done, and doing the police's job, also speculating on future targets. Talk of blood on clothes and passing the knife around the car was noted. McIlvaney confirmed the group admitted responsibility. Harrison Carpenter separated from the group and handed himself in at a local police station, refusing to answer questions. O'Keefe and Dorr continued evading capture, ditching the original vehicle for a stolen car. No specific route for this leg was detailed, but they began heading northwest out of Essex to avoid detection. The next 2 days, before their arrest, O'Keefe and Dorr fled across the country, covering 150 to 200 miles northwest. By October 18th, they were near Shropshire in the stolen car, attempting evasion. A high-speed police chase followed. The chase began when West Mercia police spotted the traced stolen car near Shropshire and activated blue lights. O'Keefe accelerated, taking unusual routes off the main roads through waterlogged country lanes with heavy puddles, forcing pursuing officers to use wipers. It ended in Sifton village with an armed stop. Bodycam footage showed their dramatic arrest. This was approximately 200 miles from Clacton, 3 days post-stabbing. The trio thought that they could easily get away with it, but fortunately didn't have that much luck. Zach O'Keefe was convicted for murder and sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 23 years, while Harrison Carpenter was convicted for manslaughter, with his sentence being 11 years detention. Joseph Dorr given a 10-year and 6 months imprisonment sentence, similar to Carpenter's. As we conclude this heartbreaking story of Kieran Shepherd, a kind-hearted 30-year-old son, brother and father, whose life was so senselessly stolen on that fateful day in Great Baddow, let us pause to remember the profound ripple of pain left in his wake. Kieran, with his heart of gold and unwavering willingness to help anyone, was robbed of his future, his dreams, and the simple joys of watching his child grow, walking his dog, or sharing moments with those he loved. His family, forever shattered, now grapples with an unimaginable void, a pain no words can fully capture, as his father so poignantly shared, describing it as a wound that time may never heal. On familiar streets, and leaving neighbours united in grief, fear, and a call for change. May Kieran's memory inspire us to cherish our own connections, seek justice for the vulnerable, and work toward a world where such tragedies are no more. Rest in peace, Kieran. Your light endures through those who loved you.